book lovers, it is G-Swizz here, and I'm here today to talk about the books that I want to read in the month of May. Third of the year has already passed. This month, I don't know if I have like severe concrete reading plans. However, there are some books that I really just want to knock off of my TBR completely, and some authors writing that I just want to experience. I don't know, I just want to go for it this month. So far, my reading year has been completely successful, but I must keep looking forward and see if the rest of the year follows on with that trend. So I guess without further ado, I'm gonna bring up some books that I really want to read this month, or just anytime. Like, I just want to read these as soon as I possibly can. I have a fiction addiction, in case you could not tell. So the first few books that I bring up on my TBR are going to be some books from the same author. Pretty much, I just want to read this author's somewhat backlist and their newest release that comes out in the month of May. That author is Emily Henry. Yes, I want to finally read Beach Read. I also want to finally read You and Me on Vacation, aka The People We Meet on Vacation, because that is the international title. And then finally, I want to read Book Lovers, which comes out at the very beginning of May, and I've pre-ordered it for some reason. I don't know why I've pre-ordered it. I've never read anything by Emily Henry, and apparently I want to read that one. I don't know, I just got really excited when I saw the title. I shouldn't judge a book by its title, but there we go. I judged a book by its title. My slogan is "What up, book lovers?" and then this book is called Book Lovers, so of course, like, it would be the most on-brand thing for me to buy it. I have a feeling that I need to read her books before I actually read Book Lovers. So I've decided that I want to read these first two books before I go into Book Lovers. We'll see how this goes. I'll let you guys know whether I like them or not, whether they are worth the hype, in my opinion, because pretty much everybody has been sharing that they are very much worth the hype. I very much remember when everybody was talking about Beach Read and how amazing this romance contemporary was, so I want to be in on that. And then this right here was a GOODREADS finalist for last year. I don't remember whether it was the winner or not, so I need to be in on that too. And going on the complete opposite side of the romantic spectrum, we are gonna go into some dark, smutty romance stuff. We're gonna continue on with the Wicked Villain saga. So I've got two more books left in this series. I have The Sea Witch and I have Queen Takes a Rose. These are the 5th and 6th books in the Wicked Villain saga, and let's just say that the books just got heavier and heavier as I continued on with the series. And I've also heard that these two books aren't as good as like books 2 to 4 in the series, which I've already experienced. I experienced them last month and I thoroughly enjoyed them, but I am very much curious to see how these will go with me. The last books I read were just getting very heavy, and I didn't actually expect them to be heavy. I initially decided to pick these books up by Katie Robert because I just wanted some smut to get my mind off of the deep, thought-provoking reads that I've been reading, like Taylor Jenkins Reid. A lot of her books have been making me cry and feel things, and I was just thinking, maybe if I read something smutty and like light and romantic, I don't know, maybe I can get my mind off of that. I mean, it will get your mind off of things, but if you're wanting if you're wanting a series that is like light and uses, like, you know, the smut for the lightness, this series is not that. This series is pretty heavy and all the characters are going through things. I learned that the hard way as I continued on with the series, and don't get me wrong, I am enjoying this series. This series is not for vanilla readers. It's definitely not for people who love vanilla romance. This is definitely for people who like some extreme smut. Let's just say that. I am very much enjoying the storylines that come with these as well. I've definitely been blushing a lot and I've been getting a lot of stares from Camilo. So I'm very much looking forward to continuing on with this series when I feel like I'm ready for a more dark romantic time. Back to the fun-loving romance. I've got to talk about One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I want to read this book. Last month, I finally ended up getting to Red, White, and Royal Blue, and honestly, it just made me really want to read more of Casey McQuiston's works. It's actually very funny. I believe that Casey McQuiston is releasing a 3rd book this month, but that's a young adult romance, and maybe I might try it. I don't know. I'm not really excited about that one, but if One Last Stop convinces me, then I might pick it up. I very much did enjoy Red, White, and Royal Blue, but for some reason, I don't know whether One Last Stop I'm gonna love more. We'll see. There's only one way to find out, and the one way to find out is to read it. So hopefully, fingers crossed, I finally read it this month so I can let you guys know how I feel about it and whether it is worth all the hype that I've been building up in my head for it or not. And the last contemporary romance that I'm going to assign myself for this month in terms of my TBR is The Matzo Ball by Jean Metzler. Now, I've wanted to read this one for a while. I received this copy right here in my bookish box. It was like a bonus paperback in one of the boxes. Who doesn't love a free paperback? And I was also very much happy to add it to my romance contemporary collection because I'm getting into that at the moment. I don't really know much about this book at all. I don't actually know anything about this book, but for some reason I'm drawn to it and I want to give it a shot. lot. I'm trying out some hyped authors like Casey McQuiston and Emily Henry this month. So I just want to balance that out with someone who I've never heard of before, Jean Metzler. I didn't hear about them before hearing about this book. I want to give them a try and let you guys know whether I love this book just as much as I love the other contemporary romances on my TBR. We'll see. And the next book I bring up on my TBR list for the month of May is a book that I put on my This TBR Will Self-Destruct video earlier this year, and I really want to get to it. I've been flying through that TBR as of recently. I just want to continue doing that, so I'm just going to try my best to allocate those books in different TBR videos where I can. And this month I want to try reading The Animators by Kayla Ray Whitaker. I cover purchased this. This cover looks absolutely pretty, but what is even more fascinating about this cover is the static fuzz that is on the naked hardback. I just love the aesthetics of this book, and I think I want to read it even more because my husband studied 3D animation, and I wonder if any of this story parallels what he has studied, because I believe that this book takes place in an animation class in university. So that's going to be fascinating, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm very much looking forward to asking my husband questions about things to see whether it's an accurate depiction or not. It definitely seems like a contemporary-esque story. I don't know whether if there's a like romantic element in there or not. I'm mostly just reading this for the animation purposes. I'll let you guys know how I go and whether it was worth keeping on my TBR in the first place or whether it was worth self-destructing. And the next book slash series that I want to get to in the month of May is A Study in Charlotte, aka the Charlotte Holmes series by Brittany Cavallaro. Now, I've wanted to read more books by Brittany Cavallaro ever since I read Muse. I absolutely loved and adored Muse, and I need the sequel right now. I needed it yesterday, I swear. After reading that book, I just fell in love with her writing, and I remember some people raving about the Charlotte Holmes series back in the day and asking more people to read it. I finally got my hands on the hardbacks, and I'm so happy that I did. I really just want to read more by Brittany Cavallaro. I'm not gonna lie, I've never been a big Sherlock fan. However, I find this reimagining very interesting because it's not necessarily, kind of is a reimagining, I don't know, because I believe Charlotte Holmes is the niece. I don't know who they are, but they're related to Sherlock Holmes. And then there's another character in here who is related to Watson, and they end up solving mysteries together. And I just wanted to read the series for quite some time, but mostly because Brittany Cavallaro has become one of my new favorite authors after reading Muse. And that's saying a lot because that's only one book. So I'm really hoping, fingers crossed, I love this series just as much as the people who have been raving about it do. I want to let you guys know how I feel about it, but I need to start somewhere. I put it on my series TBR for the year. There have been times where I've just been completely disregarding that TBR that I coordinated for this year, so I have to stop disregarding it and I have to get to this book. The second last book that I want to bring up on my May TBR is King of Battle and Blood by Scarlett St. Clair. And the reason why I finally want to read this, I know, I mean, I could read my physical copy, but for some reason, I just want to listen to the audiobook. I don't know what it is, but the audiobook just dropped, it just came out, and for some reason, I don't know why, I'm like really hyped to listen to the audiobook. Also, I've only got a special edition copy of this, and I kind of really don't want to ruin it. I definitely want to listen to the audiobook. The audiobook has just recently dropped. It just dropped into my Audible account. But also, I've wanted to read this for a while because Scarlett St. Clair is the author to the Touch of Darkness series, and I really enjoyed A Touch of Darkness. I believe I read the first book in audiobook form as well, so for some reason, I feel like that experience of A Touch of Darkness has really kind of made me want to listen to more of Scarlett St. Clair's books on audiobook. That's what I want to do with King of Battle and Blood. I don't actually know much about this book except that it's a high fantasy that involves vampires. It sounds exciting and it sounds like something that I really do want to read. I'm really hoping I love this book just as much as everyone else because a lot of people are raving about it. And the final book that I have on my May TBR is going to be a book that is just a maybe. It's more like a hopeful because I don't know whether my copy is going to arrive this month or not. However, I'm just very much looking forward to receiving it and letting you guys know how I feel about it, and that, my friends, is Book of Night by Holly Black. Could be wrong, but I believe that this is the first book that Holly Black is releasing after the Folk of Air trilogy. If so, that's exciting, but this is also the first book by Holly Black that is technically an adult novel. And I believe that it's either a standalone or a series. I actually don't know, but what I do know is that everybody's hyping this first book in particular. I honestly cannot wait to see what Holly Black has in store for us, and I honestly just hope that I am surprised by the way that she writes adult fiction. From what I know, this sounds very whimsical and magical, but this is more of a hopeful rather than a confirmed, considering that I don't know when I'm going to be receiving my copy because I am getting it from at least one of my two bookish subscription services. Fingers crossed I receive it soon. That is going to be it for this video today, book lovers. If you happen to stay to the end of the video, leave me the sparkly stars emoji. I'm just thinking about that emoji considering that I just talked about Book of Night, and you know what? Book of Night is giving me those vibes. If you happen to enjoy this video, don't forget forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet already. Join the amazing community of book lovers. Also, I have social medias. I'm at gswizzlebooks on Twitter and Instagram, and I'm also Goodreads. That's www.goodreads.com/gswizzle. And finally, I'm at TikTok. I'm at gswizzle on TikTok if you want to follow me there for some bookish content. I love you, book lovers, and I will see you later. Peace.
Started out with half and I flipped it into double. Started out with half and I flipped it into double.